Thank you for staying with us. We will be cutting off to join the legislative agenda of the Delta State House of Assembly sitting on new policies and reforms holding in Asaba, Delta State. Viewers can continue watching your view by scanning the QR code showing on your screen right now. Ladies, just before we went off on the break, we're just talking about, the staggering numbers out there. As much as it is, we don't want to just make it a statistics, but sometimes statistics bring it to home how serious the case is. It's not just something that happens with this ethnicity. It's not just this tribe, or it's not just these people from this country. It is global. It is every day. They say every 10 minutes a woman is being killed by somebody that she loves or knows personally.
So when issues like this are being discussed, I really don't like to be too emotional about it. Because I know we, especially in this part of the world, are driven largely by emotions, right? So I'll allow the people who can play the emotions to play the emotions, but for the few people that I've spoken to when it came to abusive relationships, I get really upset when I'm expecting them to see that this is not even okay for their mental health. And they are still giving me excuses why they should stay in that relationship. And you alluded to something, Amaka, when you were talking about why these people see these flags, red sea, and decide to choose to stay in that relationship, which I will touch on that. But I want to mention that when it comes to domestic violence and femicide, right? It's not just it's global. And each country or each culture has their own systems of enabling it. So in the Obodo Ibo, of the A's and the U's and all of that, we see that they are more economically empowered, but they still have issues of violence. They still have femicide. They still have their women killed, daily. Where we have, like you rightly said, psychopaths roaming around everywhere. You get into a relationship, you say you're not doing again, they find you to your house, they mug you and all of that. They have those issues. So for them, it's not so much about the marriage system where they have more of this. It's about the fact that there are many mad roaming people on the streets that just do this evil to women. Many people who are chauvinistic, who see women as lesser and should be dealt with, and so that's their own nature of their own violence. But when we bring it back home, we see that it's more in our communities, it's more in our marriages, it's more in our relationships, because we're still a largely marriage conscious society, let me put it that way. And one of the reasons many people do not come out of this is because of the fact that our cultural norms sort of support it. I mentioned it earlier. We have a culture where many men believe that chastising their wives, they can discipline you by beating you, correcting you by beating you. Growing up, we had people who married early, and their husbands will flog them. And when you complain, they'll say, she's not wise. I need to,
woman know the wise.
I need to help her. So they take up the father role. You're a husband, you're a father at the same time, and then you chastise. Then we have another issue where it's largely underreported. Though we have a VAP Act of 2015, which is Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act, but the implementation is where we have a major problem. So many people do this and get away with it. There's no proper deterrence that is given to know that in this society, it is not acceptable. They find a way to get to it. And so when you report, the family members make you out to be the enemy. You are the one that is calling our family out. You are saying that my son is beaten. Since I raised him, he has never beaten anybody. Why are you the one disgracing the family name? So these are some of the things that make it difficult for the women, aside from the fact that they're also ashamed that you're leaving your husband's house and all of that. Make it difficult for the women to separate themselves from this, abuse.
Okay, I have a caller, Alfred from Delta. Good morning, Alfred. Alfred, good morning.
Yes.
Welcome to the show.
What leads to that is also is that there are some parents, when they get their daughter married, they always take out that sister to attach to that daughter that married. They marry to an husband.
Could you speak up, please, Alfred, so I can hear you?
Killing each other inside their home. That's what leads to all those things. should tell parents that they should avoid doing that. And well, you just want your daughter to the husband, not to attach her with other sister, be able to appreciate things that are causing problem in home. Thank you.
Thank you, Alfred, for your contribution. So I hear us when we're discussing this majorly from a point of women who are forced to get married. You know, while people were talking, I scribbled in my notes, no reason and every reason. No reason for violence, every reason for the violence. Because if you say, oh, it's because the woman that has refused to leave a violent home, the woman that refused to read the red flags. How about the girl that is walking down the street? A man sees her, he says he likes her, she says she does not want. He corners her down the road and maims her or kills her. You know, how about the little girl who's just running around, playing around, and this man feels that she has, you know, they used to tell us she has seduced him. A baby in diapers has seduced you, and she goes. So there's just every reason why this is happening. And so for me, when I hear, you know, Amaka and BeeCee say, you know, it's not about the emotions. Sometimes I wonder why women won't get out. Is it really not about, you know, maybe women are not, there are some cases where women are not empowered.
So, you know, when I was making my first point, I said the violence is not the culture, it's our culture of silence, our culture of inequality, our culture of, I think, lack of accountability. Those were the three things I had mentioned. But two are emphatic, the silence and the inequality that forms what a girl becomes. So when Amaka was talking of internal factors, choices and all of that, and the emotion of a woman, it comes from, you know, those factors I mentioned. If you were born, I was born into a largely all-girls family. Look at me now. Because, yes, because you didn't have a choice. You had to hear us. And my father enjoyed, you know, until maybe when we became adolescents and our noise was too much, to hear us, so we're not silenced. In some homes, the way the girls are raised, I know a family where the girls do not even have an identity. And they would, if they met a woman with an identity like myself, she would be criticized.
Yes.
You're not supposed to know yourself. You're not supposed to be the daughter of who you were from. You're not supposed to want certain things for yourself. In some homes, girls were not supposed to even dare to think that they could have property. I mean, you want to do now, you don't marry now, you say, sit down, you know, sit down, make you born. You know, so the woman, even in the dream of born, the kind of upbringing she would have loved to give her child, was controlled. You know, so such inequality that society and families, because family society anyway is the major unit of society, as you know, accepted and allowed over the years, is why we're here. It forms the final product where that the girl child becomes as a woman.
Yeah, I like that you said, okay, you have something
I wanted to add that, let's also talk about the women, because, you know, we have to talk about every aspect of this conversation.
Yes.
And it's important to also talk about the women that for them, if you don't violate them, if you don't beat them, if you don't talk down on them, you don't love them. For them, that is what trauma, that is what love means. Do you understand? And then when they're with a man that wasn't raised that way, they don't understand and they can push you to the wall. So, and they keep choosing the men that be their violent and violent towards them. So also, you know.
So I was going to ask, yes, what do we think has changed in 10 years, 15 years? There was a time we used to talk about women not being able to inherit property, but now conversations are ongoing. I feel like we have made some progress.
Yes, we have.
When would we say that we have made progress, like in our communities anywhere? And then how can we build up on that and scale it up?
Women are.
So, okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. For me, I think the world is changing. This is a new set of people. It's a new generation. And with the generation we have now, that's talking about younger people, they are not as silent as our forefathers used to be. They now know who they are.
Sometimes I think we give our forefathers a bad rap.
No,
we used to do circumcision. It's our forefathers that were fighting that war against circumcision. So we took it up.
No. We had some parts, not all our forefathers. Now some forefathers are still sitting and you know, asking to pour libation after you come and do ceremony after the circumcision. Yes, they are getting better. I'm just saying that because the world is changing, it's becoming a global village. We are now seeing things that border on human rights infringement, and everybody's beginning to stand up and speak up. Okay,
let's go on a short break. When we come back, we'll continue our conversation. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thank you for staying with us. Obiajulu, you were...
Yes, so you had asked the question if we have seen a difference in the last 10 years. And I'm saying that we have, because now the world is a global village. We are picking up a lot of Western culture infused in our culture, where these days it's all about freedom, it's all about human rights, don't infringe on my rights and all of that. We are seeing examples from the West, and women are now beginning to say that if this does not pay me anymore, I can walk away. We're seeing a lot more divorces, which many people would say are because of the infusion of Western culture, this is not a good thing for our society. But many of the divorces that I personally have seen so far is from a result of domestic violence or things like this. We're seeing men raise their daughters now with confidence. Seeing Nima here talking, she was raised amongst girls, and the sort of confidence her father gave to her, she will not take any form of abuse from anybody. Even me, the confidence my father gave to me, you will not even dare.
Except falls in love.
Yeah, even if you fall in love, I would choose who I love. I would not love a psychopathic somebody. I would not love a narcissist, because I already know what I want and what I don't want. So those things are what is making it seem like we're, you know, moving forward, but we still have a long way to go. And that's why we need to tidy up our system in such a way that this place is sanitized for people to understand that we cannot at this age be having inequality when it comes to economic empowerment, when it comes to political representation. Many countries that have done so well have a lot of women in the parliament, in the so we need to find a way to balance the equation so that they can also push those policies that we protect everybody, whether it's the boy child or the girl child. So that is where we're still lacking. But for individual persons now, they are beginning to wake up, especially those in the cities, to say, I cannot take this form of abuse. I'd rather take myself away.
Yeah, you know, talking about boy child or the men, especially the men who are he for she's, sometimes when I speak to them, there seems to be some sort of naivety, like they're not so sure. This numbers you're calling it's not possible. No. Or even one-on-one, they'll say, no, my brother can't do this. Like there is a blindness almost that men have towards this issue. Are they just being naive, or do you think they're being... are we or in denial? And what do we need to do to raise men who are more aware of what is happening and see them really participate in, you know, this fight against violence against women?
Your circle of influence, like you see what you just said, that people that you know are naive towards it. So you're in a good space with your circle of influence. Do you understand? Because if you don't know something, you don't know it.
You know they happen to your person.
You know they happen to your person. You know they happen for our house. You know they happen to the kind of friends where you get. So you know now to say you know now, and you know that's also healthy, because it also gives hope to the fact that there are people that are actually naive about behaving to such nuisance. Do you understand? But then education is not a scam. And what education has done for us is that now the education has been there since so. But remember, it was men that were allowed to go to school. It was men that were allowed to study medicine. It was men that were then we started fighting for women to go to school. And even in 2025, we're still fighting for women and for young girls not to be married off to go to school. So the fight is still on, right? So just imagine a young girl of 18 years being married to a much more older guy. Unconsciously, he feels that he's the father. He feels that he's in control. He feels that he's the
owner.
He's the owner. Do you understand? So he sees you as a child. And what do you do to a child? When a child does something wrong, you correct. And we're in an African culture where we hit culturally. We hit to correct. And then when you're hitting to correct, then now your mind, this is a child, you hit to correct the child, but then your mind, this is not my child, so I can hit harder to correct. In my mind, now your eye is outside, I hit harder. I hit harder, you understand? So things like that. So what education is helping us is now to let the girls more aware of who they are, be confident, have information. Social media now has helped us that even when we have naive friends that don't know what's going on, with social media and information that is out there, now you can see that even though my circle of influence does not behave in this way, but there are people that behave in this way. There are women that are vulnerable to this thing. So it is our business too, and our responsibility too, not just to know now, but to now help and look out for those signs.
Yeah.
with co-workers, when we're outside, when we're mixing up, like as in when a girl or maybe a colleague is acting a certain way at the office, you now show more concern, like, are you okay? You're coming to work with bruises and stuff. So even if it doesn't happen in your circle of influence, but now you can spot the chance and you can help out. You understand? Yeah. Yes, and then you can also speak up when you see that something is going wrong.
Yeah. Okay, so I said some people are also in denial, you know. Yes. The more of it you see, the more you think, you know,
it's normal. You think it's normal.
It's normal.
Let me ignore it away.
And that brings, you know, when we say women are custodians of culture, it's because they have, that's the role they play in this violence. They have accepted it. You see at whenever we have a wedding, you see all the advisors, they're usually the women around the bride, telling her, you don't have to be a sheep, for peace to reign, learn to compromise. I'm not saying it's bad advice. When you bring it to, so this can happen, no? Once in a while, if you just take and correct your brain, resetting, slap. And you know, a woman says to another woman, you know, when he does that from a place of love, or when he does that, run to this way, not this way. So if a woman is already used to the protection of her family, she's also ought to run that way. But they will say that your family will not forget to. So you run this way to the cover-up. And that role is so serious because most of the death that we have seen, the role women play in it is huge. Women who are in denial, women who have also normalized it. Women who do not think a woman should not have an identity. My religion, and largely my culture, because I know beliefs, all those pretense cultures, we are not timid women. We are vocal women. Where I'm from does not support that you cover up. It does not support the silencing of women. And my religion says that a woman is entitled to her earning, starting from giving that woman as a girl child an identity. It's done from birth. From birth, I am the daughter of Mr. Akashat. I am not any other person's daughter. When I marry, I remain his daughter. Under his protection, transferred to the husband so that he limits the absolute power
I've bought you
that
over. Men
have bought you over. So when you're doing that and you're thinking this is somebody's daughter, hey, the papa fit to show. And hey, if your neighbor's child is misbehaving, if you want better, you go think about the father showing up. And that's the culture that we should preach to limit, you know, that absolute power. Control and power that, you know, we say absolute power does what?
Corrupt absolutely.
And so we shouldn't, every right is qualified under the law. The right to life, the right to everything is there's a limit of what you will do that will bring. So it must always be qualified.
Well spoken.
Thank you so much, ladies. You know, we have learned so much from this conversation. We have learned the role that we also play as women in perpetuating the violence against women. And also, you know, let this be a message to the men who are now becoming aware, or those who are already aware, and those who are yet to understand it, that there is violence against women that is happening. The numbers are staggering. It is real. It's a reality. So we need to conduct ourselves better. Deal with women with kindness. Assume she's just a human being. How does a human being deserve to be treated? Young girls, boys who are learning the ropes of life, understand that when you're dealing with each other, men, when you're dealing with young girls, young boys, when you're dealing with young girls, deal with them with kindness. Understand that they are human beings. Don't do to them what you would not want to be done to you. And I think that with that, in a few years, we can talk about a reduced number of this sort of statistics. Yes, or total eradication. Thank you so much, ladies. Let's go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll talk on our second topic. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.